the demo video for the building of a CICD pipeline as part of the Nano degree for Azure DevOps. So now we can see from the screen here, we've got our GitHub repo already open. We've got Microsoft Azure, we've got the Azure DevOps, and I've got a couple of other windows open as well. One showing the current log file and one showing the current Azure app homepage. So we're going to, first of all, we've got to clone the repo. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go into the code and we're going to take this SSH and copy this git clone URL. So we're going to copy that. We're then going to go back into our Azure. We're going to open up Azure Cloud Shell. And it's just opened up into a terminal here. And we're just going to check that there's nothing already in there. So there's no CICD project 2 clone in there already. It's already been removed. So the first thing we need to do is we're just going to clone that. So I'm just going to git clone and the URL that we took from the GitHub repo. We're going to run through that. And that's completed. And if we do an ls, we can see there's now CICD project 2 in there. So if we go into CD into CICD project 2, and it shows us all our files here. And the one we're going to change is this one here, the app.py. So the first thing we need to do obviously is to edit that. So we open the editor, we come down here, we find our app.py, open this, and we're just going to change this line here that says sklearn. We're going to just add a couple of sentences, a couple of more words onto the end here. So we're going to say service for CICD, and we're just going to save that. So if we go back to our terminal now, if we just close this editor so we can actually get see the terminal a bit better. So we're going to now do a get status, and that shows us that we've got an app.py that needs to be committed. So we do a get add app.py, and then a get commit -m update to sklearn homepage, and that's told us that one file's changed. So now we're just going to push that up to the GitHub repo. So we do a get push, and that's completed. So now if we go into our GitHub repo, and if we click on the actions, we can see here this is the one we just changed, and it's already committed it to GitHub Actions. So if we open this up now, we can see the build is running currently. And if we just expand that out a little bit, we can watch as it goes down through the various stages of this build. So we've done it's now installing the dependencies, and that will just complete in a minute as it's trying to sort out the last bits. It's gone into its PyLint, and after that, once that completes, it should come back with a 10 out of 10, and it does. So, and then it's done its test and its post run as well. So that is built, and you can see the green tick here is on the build is completed. So now we need to go back, we need to go into our Azure pipeline. So this is the CICD project 2 that I created previously under Azure DevOps. So we click on the pipelines, and we can have a look at the pipeline here, and we can see that this is the pipeline. And this is actually just now, as it says, update to sklearn homepage. So if we expand on this, we should see the latest run going on at the moment, and it is. And here it is here. So if we click on this again, it will then take us further down, and we can actually see that at the moment it's actually started. It's about a minute in, or just over a minute in. So we should hopefully get this where the build stage will complete, and then the build job will complete. And then after that, it will go down into the deploy web app. So we just wait for that to happen. And there we go. So the build stage is now complete. And it's on to the next stage, which is actually the deployment of the web app. So we can actually watch this as well. And this will go down through all the actual steps itself, and it should finally finish off where it will actually deploy the Azure web app. So we just wait for that stage, which is what it's at the moment. So this should come back with a URL that we will be able to then open up into a browser and actually see the change from what was previously in the app.py file. So we're just waiting for this deployment to happen. We can see here from the get service connection details, this is the Azure app service that I created. It's called Flask ML app -project 2. And we just start waiting for that now to complete. This can take sometimes quite a while. So we just need to wait a minute. This hopefully shouldn't be too much longer. It's just about coming to a minute now of that actual deployment. And we just need to wait a bit more. So whilst we're just waiting for that, we just remind ourselves that on the screen, this was the previous homepage change that we had. And that should obviously, we'll open up another one in a minute and see the change that's been made. So we're just still waiting for that deployment of that web app to occur. It's still going through at the moment. So we should hopefully see that finish in a minute. Let me just wait for that to complete. It's still doing its work. So look into, and there we go. So we're just on the last actual bit now. We're going through and it's finished. Okay, so we've actually finalizing the job, but it's finished the actual deployment job. If we actually click on the deploy Azure web app, we can actually see. So this is the URL. So if we click on this and say open link in a new tab, it will open up a new tab here. We click on this and you can see that it now says Prediction Home Service for CICD, when previously it was just had the Prediction Home. So we can see that that has actually worked, that's actually made that change, and we've seen the continuous integration and the continuous deployment. The last thing we need to do is obviously make sure that the actual prediction itself API is still working. So we'll go back to our Microsoft Azure Cloud Shell, and from here just do an ls, and the file we want to do is make predict Azure underscore app.sh, and we run that file, and there we go, and we can see that we've got the prediction on port 443, so that has worked. And if we now go back to our log file up here and we just do a recycle of that, we just wait for that to come back. And there we go. So that's actually now the latest log file, and we can see that just now it's actually created and it's logged. Here we go with the log files here, and this was last updated about a minute ago. So that it shows everything that worked. Actually show, and those are the streamed log files to Docker, and also we've proven then that the actual change has worked, so we can see that change as well, and also from the prediction as well.